Hello, hello. Nienke here from ninks.com. I'm going to show you how to make a quick card that I made for a friend of mine's son's birthday recently. So it'll probably be a really quick one to put together. I used the Well Done stamp set, and I'm just going to spice up the designer series paper a little bit using my Just Jade ink. It's one of the coordinating colors in the designer series paper. It's sweet. So stamping our sentiment, I'm going to choose this one saying hoping all your birthday wishes come true. It also has a very nice thank you one, thanks a ton, with the whale, and then also a well done, which is really cute. So you can use this card with any of those sentiments. This die cut I cut using the Hippo and Friends dies, and it's this little, the smallest rectangle oval from the Hippo and Friends dies. I love those dies. So even if you don't want the stamp set with that, the dies is a really good option. So the Just Jade ink, and I'm just going to stamp my sentiment with that. And then I thought there's these really cute little fish and also the seahorse. Just going to randomly stamp them onto the DSP, so you can always do that. I have a couple of them coming this way, some down here, and then maybe some going the other way. And now I'm not re-inking, so you will have a different shade over there, so they look further away. Let's do one more down here, and then maybe some up there. Okay, so there's all the little fish swimming around. I don't mind where I place them. It's just for extra, to add some more fishies to go with our sentiment. And then I'm just using, I've got a rich raspberry little spot. I get them in my paper pumpkin kits, and you can always use them. I love using my paper pumpkin supplies. You receive them every month. It's a very nice kit. Let's put one of the seahorses down here. And then I also do alternative projects for my paper pumpkin club. So if you're one of my paper pumpkin subscribers, let's do another one up here. Two little seahorses, and this is just, I like the way that looks. Some extra fish. I love seahorses, so I'll probably put seahorses on all my projects. And that about is the stamping. So we can take this out of the way. What I did with this, you will see you also get the stamp, and in my class, February online class, where I'll be using this bundle, I'll show you how to get this gradient. But what I did with this one is using the punch and the designer series paper is I just punch out these whales that you get with the paper. There's a rich raspberry one, or a Just Jade one, and then also the nice night of navy, and you can see the different colors in there. So I just used that and punched out a sort of Just Jade little whale for that. So now we can just put our card together. I have a card base of white with some glue stuck to it already, and that's just a normal 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, cut at 4 1/4, and then scored, no, cut at 5 1/2 and then scored at 4 1/4. My measurements is not always that great, so you can get the free downloadable PDF on my website. This is a piece of Just Jade that I just cut 1/4 of an inch smaller, so that you have that 1/8 of an inch border there, and I embossed it with the Seabed 3D embossing folder. I love the texture you get with that, and it's just to add something extra to the card. Get some glue on the back. You can also use seal, which probably works better than my glue most of the time. Only I seem to always reach for the liquid glue, especially on embossed pieces. I just feel that works better. Now I've got a piece of glue stuck to my finger. Let's move that out of the way. Check the orientation of your card and of your cardstock before you stick anything down. I have adhered cardstock upside down more times than I care to admit. There we go, center as best you can. And then I have a piece of Granny Apple Green and some Night of Navy. I can't remember. So this is a 3 3/4 square by 3.5 square. And we're just going to offset this a little bit, staying inside our card base size so that it will fit in the envelope. Oh, empty glue. Okay guys, I need some more glue. Can you believe it? Hold on. Great. Okay, new glue. Pro tip, whenever you place an order, get glue and dimensionals. There you go. That's my words of my tip for the day. Let's call it that. Glue. We have our piece of Granny Apple Green. I'm just going to offset that on top of the embossed piece. And I'm going to add my designer series paper that we stamped earlier onto my Night of Navy square. And this is then, what was this, 3.5, so this will be just 1/4 inch smaller, so it will be a 3 1/4 inch square. And now I want to put that so that we have our Granny Apple Green as a nice little pop of color, just to accent that piece of designer series paper. Isn't this a quick little put together? So for those birthdays coming up, you can have them ready, and even thank you cards, even a nice occasion, any occasion actually. Now this we're just going to put up here with our little whales. There's that. The sentiment makes a little dip there, so our whale can go there. Now because we have different layers here, I'm only going to put dimensionals on the back of our whale. I have my minis right here. There we go. Because that little whale tail there is so tiny, and I'm actually going to use just, can you believe it, half of a mini on this little tail here. So support the tail. Grab another one here. So that will sort of be the back over there. And then we're also only going to put one dimensional on this edge, and we're just going to put glue on the rest. So let's see how we want this. That one there. This one, you're not covering our sentiment, so that's a good spot. Let's get some glue on this side. Take off the backing. You have this here. Make sure it's nice and straight. Add some glue to the front of our whale. We could add another dimensional there probably, but I think it should be okay. Have him where we want him. Could probably use one more right there. Let's see if we can slide one in there using our take your pick tool. It's not, oops. It's not always the best to do some extra adding after you've stuck stuff down, but hey, sometimes you just need it, right? Yeah. And there we go. Some extra support right there. So we have our whale done, and then I'm going to use these iridescent pearls. I can't remember. I think they're actually retired. They were from the holiday catalog, I think. But there's also some white pearls that will go very well, or just some sequins. If you have some just jade or whichever sequins, I like these because they have like a blue and a just jade color, and there's always also some golds and some purples. So I'm just going to randomly pick some just jade ones. Oh, and I don't want the sharp end. I like the putty point. So I'm going to put 2 down here, 1 there, and 1 there. And then I'm just going to add a bigger one also of that greenish color there, up there. There we go. So that's our little card for today. So the card class you can find on my website, as well as the dimensionals, where I'll give you additional layouts and additional tips and tricks. See you again soon. Bye bye.